Yeah, they're upset because they had someone just like us come in and overpromise and underdeliver and not sell their home. And then the day their house comes up as an expired listing, they're getting 50, 60, 70 calls from agents saying, I can sell your home. I can sell your home. They're like, well, if you could have sold my home, why didn't you? It was on the market for 6 months. They got a right to be frustrated. And I think the minute we understand that they have a right to be upset because someone promised to do something they didn't deliver on, and now we're coming back saying pretty much the exact same thing, you got to understand that. And once you understand that, it's a little easier to go into the conversation with them. What I will tell you is you need to find out their why. You need to understand why they're upset. But more importantly, you need to understand if that home sold, where were they going to? What was important to them about having their house on the market in the first place? So instead of us rushing in saying, hire me, I can do this, I can help you get your home sold, I can help you make more money, I always preach that you need to slow down and find out why they were looking to sell in the first place. And most of my success getting expired listings came in taking my time and understanding the motivation and asking questions. That's really what this is all about, us learning how to listen and ask questions that will give us the information that we need to be successful with expired listings. And here's what I will tell you. You can go work with buyers. You can write up tons of offers and never get any of them accepted. And if you do get them accepted, what's your commission on average? 2%. Or you can get on calls like we're doing today, learn how to call expireds, get them to list with you, and the average listing commission is 3%. I don't know about you guys. I like those odds a little bit better, especially when you have someone who's motivated and coachable. You list their house at the right price, you're guaranteed to be paid. So that's what we're going to cover today so that we can get this guy off your shoulder. Who is this? What's up, Tony Kemp? What's going on? Who is this guy right here? Somebody tell me who this is.
That's the drunk monkey. That's the drunk monkey.
That's the drunk monkey. Come on now. He's always whispering in your ear, don't call the expires. Everybody else is calling. They don't want to talk to you. They'll never list with you. You haven't sold a house before. You haven't sold a house in their neighborhood before. He's always in your ear. What we want to do is shut this thing up and get you on the phone because you can have reasons or results. You can't have both. I say it all the time. So let's go ahead and get into it. You guys ready? All right. I'm going to put something in the chat really quickly. I'm going to put a link in case you guys don't have an expired script. I'm going to send you a link to my expired script, and you can actually just hop on and grab that. So let me just get that over to you guys real quick in the chat. And it's on Google Drive. So you can open up Google Drive, and from there, you can actually get access to the expired script if you don't have one in front of you. So what I want to do really quickly, can we role play the expired script? Who wants to be an agent? And let's go through the script.
Let's do it.
All right. So Pete's going to be the agent. I want somebody on this call that has actually called expireds before to volunteer and be the seller. Who can be the seller for Pete? If you've never called expireds before, I don't want, okay, Matt, what's up, Matt? How you doing, man? Let's go. Let's go. I'm hoping to come down to your office this quarter, man, to get down to Clinton. You're 10 minutes away from me, man. I got to get out there. All right, so Matt, go ahead and unmute. Let's go ahead and go through the expired script. I want you guys to hear how Pete goes through it, and then we're going to discuss some objection handling. So I want you guys to be ready for the objection handling. And let me just say this really quickly. You guys are going to be really tempted to write down notes and try to write down everything Pete's saying, everything I'm saying, everything Matt's saying. Take the pressure off and just listen and plug in. This is recorded. I'm going to email the recording to all of you. After you watch the video, go back and then take your notes. Pause the video and really take your time writing down the scripts. Right now, let's just be part of the conversation and let's get things going. Pete, ding dong, you're up.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Pete Kopak over with Keller Williams. The reason for my call is really twofold. One, I just want to make sure, are you aware that your home is no longer listed for sale?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And the second one is to see what your plans are for the property.
I don't really know. We've got a couple options up in the air, and we're kind of weighing some things out right now.
Okay, fair enough. And had the home sold, I mean, what were your plans? Where were you moving to?
We were kind of just exploring our options at this point in time, and we wanted to see what the market was willing to bear. And if that was the case, then maybe I would have retired. Maybe I wouldn't have.
Maybe would have retired. Oh, that's awesome. What do you do for work?
I run a few businesses and I own a bar and some other things. So I was going to determine whether I was going to sell or move down with my wife, go to Florida, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. So if the home sold, you were thinking maybe you'd go down to Florida, and you said your wife is already in Florida?
No, no. She's the baggage. You know what I'm saying? Got to bring her with her.
Fair enough, fair enough. Don't worry, I won't tell her you said that. And so what takes you to Florida?
She said we got to live 10 minutes from the beach. So that's a nice beach to live down there. So that's where I would want to go.
Yeah, it's exciting. What part of Florida?
Oh, I don't know. Not sure. 10 minutes from the beach from Florida.
Yeah, right. Anywhere that's 10 minutes.
Zip code is 0785 Ocean. That's where we're supposed to be.
That's too funny. That's awesome, man. And again, my name is Pete. What is your name?
My name's Matt.
Matt. Awesome, Matt. I appreciate your time here. So how soon did you want to be down in Florida, 10 minutes from the beach?
Oh, I'm not sure, Pete. Who'd you say you're with again?
I'm with KW.
Oh, KW. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Matt, what do you think stopped your home from selling?
Oh, I don't know. A lot of these young kids, they don't have the money to buy my house, so they don't want to. It's hard for them to buy. So we had some buyers that didn't want. They couldn't perform. I guess that's what my realtor says. They said they couldn't perform. So.
Gotcha. So when you say that you had some offers on the property and they went under contract and didn't make it to the closing table, or did you get any offers on it?
Yeah, we got some offers on it, but they were a little bit low. We entertained one, but they couldn't get the commitment.
Gotcha. Okay. And how'd you said, you mentioned your previous agent. How'd you happen to pick that agent?
Oh, it's a family friend.
Family friend. Gotcha. And let me ask you, Matt, I mean, what were some things that the agent did that you liked best?
They knew a lot about the market area. They were pretty well versed in what's going on around the area, and they were part of a team, and we tried an exclusive for a little while, and then I just wasn't happy with the number that I was getting, and that's just the way it is. I ultimately get to choose whether the house sells or not. You'd agree, right, Pete?
Yeah, for sure. Of course. Yeah, it has to make sense for you, for your wife, your family. And you said you own a couple businesses here. What businesses are you running?
I have a couple bars.
Oh, nice. Which one?
Matt's Bar.
Okay, cool. I actually don't think I've ever been there. Let's come by and check it
Yeah,
out.
very low key.
All right, cool. So let me ask you, I mean, how much time will you take before you get your house back on the market and work on, getting you and your wife out of here and down to Florida? I mean, you see the snowstorm that's coming, right? I'm sure that's got you thinking about Florida.
Oh, well, I mean, look, I always grew up this way, and skiing is part of my lifestyle. So I really don't care whether or not I'm at the beach or not. It's more or less to make her happy. But I don't know. She's looking at a couple different endeavors. She can't make up her mind. We might be going to some different places. So, are you married, Pete?
I am.
Okay. So then that it's difficult for them to make up their mind. So we have to, I gotta wait a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, tell me more about that. What do you mean you got to wait a little bit?
I'm just, whenever she decides that she wants to try to give it another shot. We just finished the holidays, and we're gonna wind back down. I have some business things that I want to either shore up. I'm not sure if I want to implement some new things. I'm not sure if I want to sell it to somebody else. I'm not sure what I want to do.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, I mean, if your home had sold and you did get the money that you needed for you to be okay with moving down to Florida, I mean, what does that look like for your businesses? I mean, you're still working, still running them up here, or, I mean,
It depends on what I want to do. You know what I mean? If I want to liquidate, I'll liquidate. If I want to promote one of my managers to be more of like a general partner, then I can navigate that. I have a couple different options.
Gotcha. So if you were to, get your home back on the market with a strong agent who was able to get you the offer that made sense for both you and your wife, excuse me, to move down to Florida, and we were able to close in, the average 45 to 60 days, would that be a problem for you, or you'd pretty much be ready to go?
I mean, I have an agent. I'm not really too concerned about his ability to sell. I just think the buyers, they didn't have the money. They don't have the money to sell or to buy, rather, excuse me.
Right. Okay. So Matt, I hear you saying that, and I think what's interesting is, there's some other properties that have sold in town that are right around your price point, and they actually sold within about 2 to 3 weeks. So what I find interesting is that, you know, based on what we're seeing here in the market, is there are ready, willing, and able buyers who are ready to put an offer on your home. And I'm not sure, are you familiar with what's going on with interest rates right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were up about as high as 8% almost in some cases. They've actually come down significantly to about 6.5%. So we've actually seen an increase in buying power. So now is actually a pretty strong time for buyers, at least more than it has been in the last couple of months. If I were to come out and show you ways that I could get your home sold, for top dollar and a price that made sense, what would stop you from taking a look at that?
The value of my home. I believe the value of my home is going to go up. You
Right.
mentioned that there are more buyers in the market. And so if interest rates are going to drop, then that probably means that my home value is going to increase.
Well, man, actually, what that means is your home value has increased, and your home value has increased right now while rates have trended downward. Now, you've seen it, right? I mean, we know the Fed and the government, right? There's no guarantee that they're going to continue to drop. Would you agree with that?
Well, of course.
So I think one of the dangers of waiting until spring is twofold, actually, because as the spring starts to come, we start to see more inventory, which means you have more competition, right? And what does more competition do for the value of anything?
It's supply and demand, of course.
Of course, right. So I don't have to tell you that, you know that. And, if rates do, something happens in the economy and interest rates start to go up, that could actually decrease the value of your home. So Matt, if we waited 3 or 4 months and rates actually went up and that devalued your home and that meant you weren't able to move to Florida, you weren't be able to liquidate your businesses and retire. And, maybe your wife wasn't so happy that she wasn't living 10 minutes from the beach. I mean, what would that look like for you?
Well, I guess that'd be pretty bad news if in fact the rates did actually go up.
Yeah, and Matt, I can't predict the future. I have no idea, but what I do know is we're in a good spot right now where buyers are willing to pay, top dollar for homes. So let's do this. Why don't I come out for 10, 15 minutes? If what I say doesn't make sense, we shake hands, right? I'm professional. I do this every day. So it's no hard feelings on me. And if what I say does make sense, then we can talk about what it looks like to make the next steps. No pressure guarantee. What does today at 4 look like for you? Or would tomorrow around 2 be better?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of busy the next few days. I can provide you with an email if that's all right. Maybe we can touch base next week.
Okay, yeah, that works. What's the best email for you?
It's matt@mattsbar.com.
Okay, so that's M-A-T
Yep.
at MATSBAR.com. Okay, great. Listen, and so, so what I'll do is I'm going to send over my pre-marketing package. What I'd love to do is actually still, I'd love to just stop by. Is your wife going to be home at all that I can just stop by and take a tour of the home and kind of see what's going on there?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be best if we, if you contacted me next week and we kind of set something up that way. I can talk to her a little bit, tell her I spoke with you, and we'll see. We'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So next week. So what's better about next week than this week?
Well, it's Friday, and in the bar life, we get up sometimes a little late in the morning, and we stay up late at night, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So we're pretty jam-packed this weekend. So next week would be better for us.
Okay, next week. And so if what I'm hearing you say is in the mornings better, or is in the afternoons usually better?
Afternoon would be better.
Okay, so what if we were to pencil in, because my schedule gets pretty filled up pretty quickly. So what if we were to say Tuesday at 3 o'clock and we pencil that in? How does that work?
Yeah, again, Pete, I appreciate it. I'd have to talk to my wife to see, see what her schedule looks like. What's the deal? What's going on with the bar? What's up with the employees? Do we have time? Right after the holidays, I got shipping and I have, deliveries that are coming in and so on and so forth. So again, if you could shoot me an email, I'd be happy to have a conversation with her over the weekend and then talk to you next week and see if it makes sense for both of us to get together and have you preview my house.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll definitely send over that information. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send over my pre-marketing package. So when I send that over, will you take a few minutes to take a look at that?
Yeah, sure. That's no
Okay,
problem.
awesome. And so it sounds like Tuesday around 3 would probably work, assuming all the other things actually fall into place correctly. So what I'd love to do is just, because I don't want to lose that spot, you know, I'm setting appointments all the time, and it's important that I meet with you, and at least I want to be able to show you the options that you have so that I can at least give you another option to maybe get you down to Florida. So I'm going to pencil in Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I'll touch base with you on Monday just to see how things are going. And then at least we've got that placeholder in place. So I'll see you Tuesday, 3 o'clock, call to confirm. And if all makes sense, then I'll still see you Tuesday at 3.
Okay, thanks, Pete.
All right, you got it, Matt.
Matt and Pete, thank you so much. So here's what I want to say and why I was so happy that Pete went. You guys notice if you're looking at the same script, he followed his script. Did you guys notice that he wasn't willing to take no for an answer and he kept going back for the close? I love that. And that's what we need to do. And what you have to understand is as long as that seller is still on the phone with you, a lot of times they're giving you objections because they want to see, are you the right person? And as long as they're talking, you need to keep talking and you have to have something to say. And Pete went about closing that several different ways. And ultimately, he got the appointment scheduled in. And typically, once you get it scheduled in, they keep it or they reschedule it to another time. You always create the opportunity to get in front of that particular seller. There was one thing though, Pete, you know, Matt was talking about the buyers didn't deliver. They couldn't afford his home and he needs a buyer that can deliver. And I was thinking in my head as you were talking, Pete, and I want to know how you feel about this and anybody else who wants to chime in, how things would have went with that conversation if you said, you know, there are a lot of buyers that are out there making offers on homes they can't afford. I have a system to make sure that when I receive an offer, I actually double check and talk to their lender and see what's been verified to make sure that we're not taking your house off the market for a buyer who can't actually get to the closing table. So I want to sit down with you and show you what I do to vet the buyers so we make sure that when we get an offer in, we can actually get you to the closing table. Like, do you think that may have made a difference with a seller like Matt if you kind of address what he was saying about the buyers?
Yeah, without a doubt. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, Matt was saying was, hey, I want to wait and see if my value increases. Well, when people say that, if they're waiting for values to increase, the property he's buying in Florida, that value is going to increase too. So are we?
Well, you know what? I didn't even ask him if he was buying a property in Florida. I assumed
Exactly.
he was buying a property in Florida. Now that you
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah. So we don't even know. Maybe he had a property already, but maybe he needs to purchase. And if he's waiting for his property value to go up, he's also going to be paying more for that property in Florida. So isn't it better to sell now when there's less competition and then go ahead out to Florida and buy that property before prices increase? But good job, man. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. So now that we've got through the script, you guys see how a script can go. You got to just keep them talking. And Pete was digging into it. He was asking about motivation and, hey, you want to be closer to the beach? The one thing I don't think I heard though is, why is being by the beach important? I don't think I heard that. Did I hear that? I just want to make sure I'm being fair.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, Dave. So if I could just give some feedback real quick
Yeah.
for Pete and Pete, awesome job, man. I don't first time me meeting you, is I think just some of the things is, I think scripting is fantastic, and I read through your script yesterday, David. I've seen, yeah, we've all seen scripts. I like your script a lot. But listening is like super, super important. So like, and just so you know, I do script practice, Pete, and I'm a pain in the ass with everybody. So
No,
like I do that
no worries.
I did that on purpose.
I picked up on that. No worry. But this should be the hardest
Good.
call we make all day, right? So I
Damn
appreciate
straight.
Right,
that.
exactly,
straight.
exactly. And so like I didn't want to talk to you, and then I wanted to cave in a little bit. But like I would just recommend, and I don't know how long you've been doing this, but like really listen, like really, really listen, because if you would have started asking me more about my like down in the beach, 10 minutes from the beach, my wife, my home value and stuff like that, like, and like kind of went off script a little bit and got more intimate with like me and like why that pain point is super, super important, like I would have opened up a little bit more, and that would have opened your door much wider. And then now you don't have to feel like you're forcing for that that take no for an answer, it's just going to organically become like a, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's get together. I want you to come down here and take a look at my property. Like I mentioned that I had a family friend, right? So everybody had a family friend.
Right.
And so everybody's got a family friend. And so, you're this agent who takes no for an answer. You'll interview against anybody. Like, okay, so how do we take no for an answer while providing a value prop and showing that we're, quote unquote, I don't want to say it like this, but it's competitive. Like we're better than that person that or that person that's your family member. Because I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm hearing your pain points. But other than that, dude, fantastic job. It was really good.
Yeah, you guys were both great. I'm reading comments in the chat here and also on Facebook, and great job to both of you. So a lot of times we don't get a chance to go through the script like Pete did. I mean, that was a great example of what it can sound like. A lot of times we're getting hit with the psh, psh, psh. And one of those pushbacks that we get is, hey, I'm going to relist with my same agent. How do we handle that? This is someone who just came off the market. Their property expired. It did not sell. And you call and they're telling you they're going to relist with the same agent. Do you guys just say, okay, well, good luck and hang up? Or what do you say? How should we handle that? And Pete's already gone. Matt's already talked. I want to hear from someone else. Bhumika, what's up? Go ahead. Let me hear you.
I hear you, David. But what do you think your agent is going to do differently this time that was not done the first time around?
I mean, we talked about that. I'm sorry, your name was Bhumika?
Bhumika, yes.
Yeah, we talked about that, and he said that he's going to do some different things with social media and running some ads in some different newspapers. So I feel like with that approach, we should be good.
Okay. So my question is, David, that why was that not done the first time around when, were the offers coming in at all? Tell me more about that.
We got a couple of low ball offers, nothing that we were really interested in entertaining, and we only received 2. So
you only received 2 offers. Okay, yeah. I hear you. And so let's just say you had sold your home. Where were you planning to go? Were you planning to move locally, or were you planning to move out of state altogether?
No, actually, we're moving out of state. We're moving down to North Carolina.
You're moving to North Carolina. Okay. And why is that important to you? Do you have a place there? Have you found the place? Tell me more about that.
Bhumika, I'm not really interested in getting into that right now. We feel pretty good about relisting with our agent, and here's the thing: what would you do differently anyhow? Like you guys all do the same thing, so it's not really important to get into all this right now.
Well, David, let me tell you this: every realtor has a different strategy that they bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And I experienced in selling the houses that didn't sell the first time around. So all I'm saying is I would like to hear more about what your goals are, figure out the obstacles and how I can provide solutions. Would you be at least open-minded to hearing me for 10 minutes, the strategies that I can...
If I listen to everybody who called me, I wouldn't have time to go to work. I mean, just tell me, what do you do differently? Why would I want to meet with you?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of people that can, say things over the phone. I would like to show you, but here's this one thing that I would like to tell you. Have you heard about reverse prospecting?
I don't think so, no.
Well, then I think we need to meet. So I would like to tell you more about what that means, along with the strategies that I do to get the home sold that didn't sell the first time around, and to get you where you're wanting to go. It's a no obligation meeting. We're just meeting for 10 minutes. I'll have a look at your property in case, I work with buyers as well. So why don't we meet for just 10 minutes? We'll talk, we'll discuss. And if you feel comfortable and confident, I'll get your home sold. I'll get to work. If not, we'll part ways. So how does 4 o'clock sound today?
Bhumika, I love the way you stepped up. I'm going to say yes, and we're going to move on. That was good, though. I like the way you handled yourself there. And yet, when someone's saying, I don't want to meet with you, just tell me what you're going to do differently on the phone. Who has a different way to overcome that? What's something else that we can say? I want us to have at least 2 or 3 different ways for the same thing. Just tell me over the phone what you do differently. I don't have time to meet with you. I'm talking to the agents that actually want to go out there and get listings from expireds. I want you to get out of your comfort zone, learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. This is a safe space. This is where you say something, maybe it's not right, but this is where we can correct you and give you guidance. So don't not raise your hand because you're afraid you don't have the right answer. That's the whole point of you being here, to get it figured out. Matt, what's up?
So what I do different is that I listen to everything that is concerning and all of your goals for you, and I market your house at a premium so that you can get your home sold in the least amount of time for the most amount of money with the least amount of friction as possible.
Okay, that's one way. Anybody else have a different way? What if we just said, if I told you, would you believe me anyhow? Like, right? Because isn't that the thing? Like, we could say anything to them, but we're just talking, right? If I told you what I did differently, would you believe me anyhow? Probably not. And here's what I have to say, and I'll just use, I'm gonna use Raj as an example, like he's a seller. Raj, here's what I'm gonna say to you. I could tell you anything, right? That's what your previous agent did. They told you they could get it done. They didn't get it done. It's not about what I tell you. It's what I can show you, what I can prove to you. And so what I'm going to do, Raj, and I know you're getting calls from a lot of agents. I know that's taken up a lot of your time. I'm going to stop by your house just for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do differently. I'm not here to force you to list with me. And quite honestly, Raj, I don't take every listing, because if I can't help you, if you're not coachable and motivated, I'm not going to waste your time or waste my time. So I'm going to come by either tonight at 6 or tomorrow at 4 and go over what I do. And in 10 minutes, Raj, if what I say doesn't sound any different than any agent you've talked to, you shake my hand and I'm out of your hair. So what time works best? Tonight at 6 or tomorrow at 4?
Or at 4. And I think that's the thing. I think when you ask that question, like what other things we can say, we were all looking for like that magic word.
Yeah.
And there is none. And it's really like, whatever I say, will you really believe?
Exactly. And they're not going to believe it. And so what we got to say is just stop trying to come up with the magic pill. Like, reverse prospecting is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's a good thing to say. However, sometimes that does not work, and you have to have something different to say. And one thing I noticed about expireds, and here's what I need you guys to understand. They had an agent before that didn't know how to do their job. They didn't know how to take control of the situation. I don't know if you noticed this. I'm not asking for permission. I'm telling you, hey, I'm stopping by and I'm going to go over what I do differently. When you take that approach, more people say yes than no. And when they say no to you coming by, it's not about you not coming by. It's that time doesn't work. They give you another time that works. So I want you guys to take control. I'm coming out tonight at 6 or tomorrow at 4. I'm going to go over. And here's a script that I love. And I think the reason I love the script is it makes the seller feel like they're not going to be pressured. All I say is I'm going to come out and give you all the information you need to know to make the best decision on moving forward with the sale of your home. Whatever you decide, I'm okay with. If you choose to work with me, great. If I choose to work with you, great. But there's no pressure. I'll be there tonight at 6 or tomorrow at 4. What time works best? They're going to let their guard down when they don't feel like they're going to be pressured. And that's why I don't get on the phone to talk about all these great things that I do differently, because anybody can talk and say that. They've already had that experience. I want to show you what I can do differently. All right, so here's the next one. Hey,
Can I just interject or just a quick question for you, Dave?
Jump in anytime, man. Go for it.
And I know this is about getting the appointment, not once you go on the appointment. So I know we don't want to go too far down that road, but 1 or 2 things that when you show up on that appointment with a 5 or 10, like, are you going on your normal listing appointment? Like, are you, what's just in general, what are your thoughts on that?
So for me, if they want to actually book an appointment with me and they say, well, yes, I want you to come by, then the next thing I do immediately is I say, well, great, Pete, before I come by, in order for me to do my job, there's a few questions I need to go over with you that will save you time and save me some time when I show up. Can I do that right now? Then I pre-qualify them. And based on that pre-qualification, I'm either going to keep the appointment or cancel it. Because if I pre-qualify and I realize, man, they're being unreasonable, they want to get 800, the houses in their neighborhood are selling for 550. Like, if they are not motivated and coachable, I'm going to cancel that appointment. If they are motivated and coachable, then it is a listing appointment. I'm pre-qualifying. I'm sending out my pre-listing packet, and I'm going and doing the full-blown presentation.
Gotcha.
Yep. That's the way I look at it. All right. So
quick question, David.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me give some time for questions. Go ahead. Jump in. Please go ahead.
What if they say that, all right, how about you drop everything in my mailbox and I'll take a look at it and call you back, David, when I have a chance.
You know, you could do that, Nandini. And let me just say this to you really quickly. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls from a lot of agents, and they're making offers, and you're probably telling them all the same things, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. If you knew with 100% certainty that your house could be put back on the market and it would sell quickly and at a price that made sense for you, you would be interested in really hearing that and really understanding that, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm a professional, just like your doctor, and your doctor's not going to just have you read over the literature about the surgery and come in and get operated on. He's going to sit down and talk through the whole process and procedure with you. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that, but David, I do have a lot of people calling me, and a lot of people want to swing by
Yeah.
to know me. So I just want to kind of run a comparison in my own time and see that what is it that you're offering to do differently versus my current agent.
Yeah.
And if you were offering to do it differently, if you already had buyers, why didn't you bring them in while my house is in the market? So I want to just take my own time to run that
Okay.
comparison.
Okay.
If you keep it off, it'll be super helpful, and I'll be in touch.
I understand that. And then, Danny, you sound like you are a really smart seller, and you're going to take your time and do your due diligence to make sure this time around you choose the right agent. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Would it be helpful for you if you had a list of questions that you could ask during the interview process to make sure that this next time around you're hiring the right agent that can actually get the job done?
Of course.
Yeah. So I know it sounds like you're looking to save a lot of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop by. I'm not going to drop it and leave it in your mailbox. I'm going to stop by with this information along with a list of questions that you need to be asking every professional agent that you talk to. And I'm going to give you my answers to those questions. And after that, after we meet, if you still feel the need to interview those other agents, you'll have the information that will allow you to choose the best agent for the job. So, give me 10 minutes. I'm going to stop by either tonight at 6 or tomorrow at 4, drop off that information, drop off those questions for you, and make sure you have an opportunity to meet me and hear my answers to those questions before you start interviewing. So what time is going to work best for me to do that? Would it be 6 or would it be tomorrow at 4?
Okay, David, in that case, since you seem to be quite confident of it and pushing to meet in person, all right, let's try for 6 today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Nandini. I just want to be upfront with you, though. I don't take every listing. If I don't feel like I can help you, I'd rather turn you down than let you down. So I know that you're looking to interview, and I also interview as well because I want to make sure that anyone I work with is really motivated and really coachable. And so there's not going to be any pressure for me to list your house. I'm going to give you the information you need to make the best decision, and whatever you decide, I'm okay with.
All right. All right. Thank you. And
All
I
right.
look forward.
All right, I'll see you then. Thank you.
Yeah. David, I love the part that you kind of put it in there that you also don't take every listing. That's a good one.
And here's the thing. I'm fighting so hard to get in front of you because here's what I know. If I don't get in front of you when I have you on the phone, if I don't set that appointment up, the chances of you calling me back are slim. The chances of me getting you back on the phone are slim. You're on the phone, as long as you're talking to me, as long as you're continuing to give me pushback and objections, to me, that's green light for me. Because if you didn't want to hear from me, if you didn't want to hear what I had to say, what would you do? You hang up. You hang up. You're still talking. I'm going to keep talking until I book that appointment. I'm not dropping anything in your mailbox. I'm not doing that. I'm setting up the appointment and I'm coming out to meet with you. And again, did you guys notice I'm not asking permission? I'm telling her I'm coming out. Kevin, what's up, man?
So when you because you're saying you're gonna have the questions for her and this, that, and the third. So when you meet her, you're gonna have the questions and the answers on a sheet of paper, or are you answering the questions for her like in person?
I'm gonna answer it in person. And here's the thing about the list of questions. You can choose what questions you give them to ask the other agents. And these questions should be things that help you. So I'm going to be asking, are you a full-time agent versus a part-time agent? I'm going to ask, have you sold homes in this area? I'm going to ask, what's your list price to sales price ratio? What's your days on market? I'm going to have the answer to those questions, and they're going to make me stand out. And I'm going to be asking things like Bhumika brought up. Do you do reverse prospecting? And I'm going to tell that seller, if you ask that question and they can't explain to you what reverse prospecting is, you need to run, because that's one of the biggest things we should be doing in order to sell homes. And if that agent doesn't even know about it, that's not the right one. So that's how I'm going to go through the questions, and it's going to help me stand out. And typically by the time I go through all those questions and I show who I am and what I do, they're not even interested in meeting with other people. You can take that listing, and if they have other interviews already set up, you can say, you know, if you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, let's go ahead and sign the paperwork, and I'll call those other agents you had an appointment set up with, and I'll cancel it. So you're not wasting your time and wasting their time. Like, that's an aggressive approach. I've done this several times and it works. It needs to be practiced. So you got to practice saying it so you feel comfortable delivering it when you're in front of a seller. Thanks, Kevin, man. I appreciate you. Mrs. Pritchard, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. Hi, David.
Hey, hey.
So I do have a question. When you were speaking to the seller, answering the questions that you presented to her, one of my concerns is that I haven't sold anything. I haven't listed anything. I'm like new in the field. Like, I just got licensed in August, right?
Got it.
How would I overcome that objection? You know,
I think
like,
that's
how do I do that?
I think that's a great question. I have a question for you.
Mhm.
How are you going to overcome that objection? What would you say if I said to you, listen, I appreciate the call. I like you. You sound nice. However, I need someone with sales experience, and you haven't sold anything yet. So I need to find someone that has the experience. What would you say? Now, I know you don't know the script for it. I'm asking you just your gut.
Just from my gut?
response. What would you say?
Well, I would tap into my overall business acumen experience.
Mhm.
That that I've been in sales and marketing for over 20 years, and I haven't sold a home yet. However, I have sold things before. You know,
Okay.
I've sold my services as a coach, as a mental health strategist coach, and things like that. So I'm getting, honestly, I almost starting to feel like a little bit of a panic happening right now, because I don't even know how quite to articulate my past experience that has nothing to do with this
Mm-hmm.
to make it relevant to this, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Well,
David.
yes.
So Sherry, if you don't mind, I just want to tell you what changed for me a little bit. So when I
Okay.
first started and I started making these calls, I was so worried if they were going to have an appointment. I didn't have a presentation. So here's what
Mhm.
changed for me. And recently I sold a door knock and a FISBO. I brought in another agent. So even before I'm going on this appointment, I have somebody lined up, and I'll pay that agent 50%. Okay. In the beginning, now I'm doing it a couple of years, but it's better to get half the watermelon instead of none. And then when they say that, you could just bring in my partner and I, meet with somebody before. It's been kind of a changer for me so far,
Mm.
because when I was in corporate, I did all sales presentations, but I never had to even write one. People did it for me. My job was to present it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mike
And,
is right. Mike is right. I don't disagree with what Mike is saying. You want to bring someone in. But Mike, here's what I will say to you and to Mrs. Pritchard. Before I did that, I would attempt to still see if they would list with me. Right.
Right.
And so what I would say to you is, do you remember, what it was like when you graduated and you were applying for your first job and you were going on all these great interviews and everyone just kept saying to you, great interview, we enjoyed meeting you, you just don't have the experience we're looking for. And in your mind, you're thinking, well, how do I get the experience if nobody will hire me? Do you remember what that felt like?
Yes.
I mean, that's what this
Exactly.
is like for me. It's the
Feeling it
same type
now.
of situation, right? I've had the training. I'm with a great company. I know that I can sell your home. However, you're telling me I don't have the experience. How will I get it if you don't give it to me? So I'm just asking you to give me the opportunity you wanted those people to give you when you were applying for your first job. Let me show you that I can get this work done. You're going to be my only client. All my time is dedicated to you and this listing and
Mhm.
getting it sold. and I have the training, I have the experience, I've done sales in the past. I can sell your home. Will you take a bet on me? And maybe they'll say yes. Maybe they'll get nostalgic and say yes. And if they don't say yes, then would it make you feel more comfortable if I brought in the top agent from my office that works this area and we partnered up together? This way,
I like that.
this way you're getting two agents for the price of one. You're giving me the opportunity to gain some experience, but at the same time, you're making sure that you have someone that has the experience that can navigate this whole process and get your property sold. If I could do that, would you list your home with me if I brought someone in that you felt comfortable with?
I like that.
And also,
I do. I
if
feel good
could
with that.
just
Yeah.
start by asking what's important about hiring an agent. Like, let them tell you, and then you can kind of poke on that too. Like, I think whenever I get like jammed up and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what to say, I just ask them a question. What's important about that? What's important about hiring an agent with experience? Buys
Yeah.
you a little more time, and it actually sometimes brings out what their true objection is, because it might not even be that. Because then you can even go in and say, well, okay, so is there anything other than having experience in this area or experience selling homes that would prevent you from listing your home with me today?
Yep.
I
Great,
like
great
that
advice.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. What's important about that? That's actually, I like that. Like if I get jammed up and don't have an immediate answer, I can see how that question would actually fit
It
almost
definitely
every
would fit.
situation and flip it.
But you
Okay,
only
I
get
like-
like one or two of those. So you can't go in and keep asking them questions without giving them some answers.
That's
right,
true.
right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but I know, but the way that you just applied that question, in regards to like what's important to you about someone having the experience, like what does that mean to you? Like, that
And
allows
that,
them to give you more information. You get more information to draw on your experience and make it relevant.
Yeah.
and that's
No,
a
that-
question
that
you
helps.
can use for every objection. We're going to sell it ourselves. What's important to you about selling the house yourself? We're going to wait until the spring. What's important to you about waiting until the spring? Like it can be used on almost every objection they give you. I'm going to say this last thing to you. Go identify that agent in your office right now who is willing to be a mentor to you. So when you're splitting it, like Mike said, 50-50, you're not just giving commission away, you're gaining an education because they're going to walk you through preparing the comps, preparing the paperwork, and take you on the listing appointment. It should be something where you're giving up that commission to learn. So next time you can do it on your own. So identify that person now so you're ready for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Pete just made a good point. You're only going to get like you said, one question or one shot. So I think, what David just said too, if you have that backup, because if you get in there and you don't have a solid listing presentation and you can't close them on that one shot, that shot's done.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the difference when I just first starting, I mean, now I'll do 75-25. I don't like to do the listing presentation. That's just me. I was brought an engineer when I was in corporate. You may, but the one shot is the key. It better be kick ass, and
Yeah.
you better be ready for the objection. They're going to hit you on commission. That happened to me, and this agent came and put the arm down, and then in the future, you're ready. You just use their presentation. They'll,
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Mike, I'm gonna move on because I want to get to Matt and I want to get through one more
Sorry.
objection before we get off of here. Matt, go
Sorry
really
about
quickly.
that.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
I had a question. Peter brought up a good point when he says that this is the hardest phone call that we make today because we're typically hard on purpose. In your experience, when you're coming, and when you did a lot of this, when you come with that, like what I call like a power pose or a power move, right? You're being really confident in your ability to do something. Like, what has been your real life experience in like the responses that you're getting from some of these expireds when you do come at them with that sense of confidence?
I have to tell you, first and foremost, it took me a long time to get comfortable doing that. But every time I did it, I mainly got a positive response. Like even when someone's saying, hey, I want to think it over, we'll call you tomorrow. And I was like, listen, we're going to make a decision tonight. I got some phone calls to make. I'm going to step out to my car and I'll come back in 10 minutes and we're going to decide whether you work with me or if I work with you. Whatever we decide, that's okay. Like that's a power move. And every time I went out to my car and came back in 10 minutes later, guess what? They listed with me because I'm showing them that I'm the type of agent they want to hire. They want someone who's going to close. Their previous agent didn't close. And I'm showing them that I can do it. I'm closing them. That's what they're looking for. And so when I show up and I show up with confidence, they say yes. But it came from saying it confidently here in script practice. We sweat in practice so we don't bleed in war. You're not going to deliver it the right way unless you come together in the group like this and you practice saying it over and over and over again so that it's delivered the right way. So that's what they're looking for. They want a confident agent. I remember selling my house in Dallas and we were interviewing agents. And this one lady walked in and she was like, hey, you guys have a seat at the kitchen table. I'm going to take a look around. And she's talking about all this stuff. Here's what I'm going to do. And this is, she took control. And I was like, this is my agent right here. Everybody else was like, hey, can you show me around? Being so timid, she came in and took control. I'm like, we are hiring her. This is my girl. And so what I learned is how to be confident with the delivery. And the reason I was able to be confident, I mean, look at Pete. Look at what he did when we did the live listing presentation. He knows that presentation. When you're able to go in there and talk and you're able to listen and ask powerful questions and overcome their objections and have uncomfortable conversations, they'll list with you.
Hey, I'm curious. Do you think someone is more, I'm curious, Dave, I'm asking you, like, I'm just thinking about this as you're saying it. You think like someone's probably more likely to hire someone who's a little bit of a jerk, but shows confidence in what they're doing than they are to hire someone who they really like, but don't like, who's like has a good vibe, makes them feel good, but doesn't really seem like they know what they're doing.
Pete, I will tell you this, before I had the confidence, I got in there and people liked me. Like I would go through the house and like, oh, you read James Patterson? I love Alex Cross. Oh, you fish? Man, I went fishing last weekend. And they love me. But guess what? They were shaking my hand. Thanks for coming out, Dave. See you later. Like, so they don't want a new friend. They're not interviewing for friends. They're interviewing for an agent that knows how to close and can get the business done. And so when you walk in and you have that confidence, I wouldn't even say you need to be a jerk about it. You are just confident and you are working to save them time and deliver on what's important to them. They'll hire you. All right. So before I get into the next objection, throw some questions at us. You got great people on here. You got Ashley on here. You got Tony who makes calls. You got Raj. You got David. You got Pete. You got Pia. You got Matt. What are some questions that we can ask for you guys around expireds and getting on the phone that will help you? Or what are some objections that you guys are thinking may come up that you aren't prepared to handle that we can role play and help you out with? And remember, you don't learn unless you get in the game. So unmute and speak up.
Can I jump on?
Yeah, go for it. What's up, Corey?
How you doing?
Good,
first of all, thank you for this, by the way. I have been in real estate as an investor mainly for the last 6 years. I just got my license in October, so kind of like being on the opposite side of things is brand new for me, which is why it's so valuable. I guess in my own experience and just thinking about, okay, expired listings, I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a price problem. There's, the price might be too high, or, I have friends who tried to sell homes recently and, the price is too high from where, it should be. I guess I was curious about like what your experience is when you might have to drop a listing $50,000 or $25,000 to kind of get the eyeballs on it to actually sell.
Yeah.
And there's like what that negotiation process is like.
So it's a great question. And I also got into real estate. I was an investor before I got into it. So I kind of understand what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to have conversations with people. And when it comes down to like, hey, we got to get this price down and we want to be super aggressive so we can get a lot of eyes on it. There's a script. And this is what I always do when I was on listing appointments. I would say, Corey, like, listen, man, are you familiar with watches? You know about Breitlings?
I know they're expensive.
So let's just call it $5,000, Corey, right?
Okay. All right.
Right. So if you went, Corey, and you bought this watch and it was in the original packaging, you have the original receipt, it was in the box from the Breitling store, and you came home this weekend and you had a yard sale, right? Would anybody come to your yard sale and give you $5,000 for this?
No.
I agree with you. Why do you say no though?
Well, because it's not brand new mint condition, just like we got it from the store.
No, it's brand new, mint condition.
Oh,
Never
it
been
is.
open, still
It-
in the box.
it's still.
original
Oh,
receipt.
yeah. Okay, so yes, then. Wait, why not?
But would you go to a yard sale and get someone $5,000 for what they paid for it at the store?
No, it's the setting. It's no, you're definitely looking for a discount if you're at a yard sale.
You are right.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said it right too. It's a setting too. I'm coming to your house.
It's a
If I'm
setting.
going to an owner,
Yeah.
I'm expecting to pay less, right?
For sure.
But let me ask you this. If you took this watch and you went to New York City this weekend and they were having a major watch auction and there were some people who collected Breitlings
Mhm.
and you started this off at $3,000, right? And everybody knows it's worth at least $5,000.
Mhm.
What tends to happen at an auction when they start the bidding?
Oh, the price goes up. The price goes up, and the competition brings the price up.
Yeah, and you can even get close to 5,000. You get one or two people who really want this watch. Is there a chance that it can go for over?
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm looking at where we need to price your house. The
Mhm.
buyers are out there for your home and they're looking for it. And they've had a hard time finding inventory. So listen, if we can come in and do like that auction effect and price this
Mhm.
house lower than market value, we're going to get tons of eyes on the property and we're going to get people to start making offers and bidding against each other. And we're
Right.
going to get you the most money possible to get your home sold. I mean, does that make sense to you? Do you see how we can actually do that by lowering the price and being very competitive?
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
that's what I want to do. And you can never underprice a property. You can never underprice a watch because people know what it sells for and they're at least going to bid up to that price. However, if you have some multiple offers coming in, there's a chance you can get more. And that's what I
Mhm.
want to do for you. So that's why I'm asking you to price it where I'm suggesting.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's great.
I like using that example and it works.
Yeah.
I've used it several times.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's brilliant. I appreciate that.
No, no doubt, no doubt. So really quickly here, because it's at 9:25 and I'm committed to ending these calls at 9:30. I have a quick survey that I just want to do with you guys. If you can just answer these two questions. And you guys on Facebook, I know I can't get the survey to you. I'm sorry. But I'll tell you the questions. The first one is, do you call expired listings on a regular basis? Yes or no? Please answer that for me. And then second question is, are you interested in learning on how to take expired listings? Answer that for me in the chat if you can on Facebook. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot more no's than yeses on calling expireds on a regular basis, right? So here's the thing that I want to say to you. Think about the last couple of years in real estate. Who made more money and have more opportunities, listing agents or buyer agents?
Listing agents.
Yeah, listing agents, right? I mean, and I am not looking here to shit on buyers agents. That's not what I'm doing here. I am just saying that if you want to have control of your income and control of your time, I know tons of buyer agents that were working with 10 or 12 buyers, writing up 10 or 12 offers for each client and still walked away with zero because their offers weren't being accepted. And on the flip side, I knew agents that were listing property at the right price point with motivated sellers. Every single listing sold. And on average, they earn 1% more than the average buyer agent. I don't know about you guys. I want to have properties that are selling and I want to make sure I'm getting paid and I want to have control over my income. And so that's why I believe being listing focused is so important. It's about this, the 3 L's. Somebody tell me what those are. What are the 3 L's?
Leads, listings, and leverage.
Listing leverage.
There we go. You get the leads, you go get the listing, you go get the leverage. You don't have to host the open houses. You don't have to go to the home inspections. You don't have to meet the appraiser. You can leverage all that out. Your job is to get on the phone and make calls and get the listings. Everything else can be leveraged out to someone else. And it just gives you more control of your time. So I'm going to reach out to you guys. I'd love for you to, have a conversation with me about the upcoming class that I run. It's called Push. Prospect Until Success Happens. And it's all about learning how to call expireds, how to call for sale by owners. And then more importantly, the thing that scares most of us is that what if these people we call actually say yes? Hey, I am interested in hearing what you have to say about how you can sell my home. That used to scare the shit out of me because I didn't know how to do a listing presentation. And I wasn't making my calls because I was afraid, not that they would say no to me. I was afraid they would actually say, okay, I'm interested in hearing from you. And so push also teaches you the listing presentation. So I will reach out to you. We'll have a conversation. Here's what I'll tell you about me. I'm just here to give you the information to help you become a better real estate agent. Whatever you decide to do with that, I'm okay with it. If you decide to work with me, I'd love it. If you decide not to, I'm okay with that too. There's never any pressure from me for you to sign up. It's just a matter of, are you ready? Are you ready to get out there and get your unfair share? So I look forward to talking with you guys about that. I want to do another round of live listing presentations, and I need a couple of volunteers. So reach out to me separately if you want to volunteer to be the listing agent like Pete did, like Ashley has done in the past, and Raj. Reach out to me and let me know. I'm ready for it. And I want you guys to get to a point where you're comfortable presenting that presentation in front of us. We're going to be your toughest audience. And like they were saying earlier, your role play call should be your toughest call of the day. So when you get on the phone with any expired, any FSBO, you're like, this is a piece of cake versus talking to Matt and Pete. Like, this is easy. Same thing with the listing presentation. The practice is going to be hard. However, when you get in front of the seller, you're going to be confident because you've done it. And you know what it looks like, and you know what it should sound like. It's time for us to practice and get out there and get our unfair share. Stop letting everybody else get all the money. It's time for you guys to step up. So let me help you. And if it's not the right time for you to take push, plug into all the stuff that's free. There's plenty of content on my YouTube. We do these classes on Fridays. Plug into what's free for now, and we'll help you as much as we can. So with that being said, I want to let you guys go so you can actually get on the phone and start calling expireds. And just know this. If you are going to call expireds, I would start no later than 8 o'clock in the morning. You want to get on the phone with them before all the other agents start calling. And if you wait until 9 o'clock, you're in a competition with a lot of other agents. So 7:30 to 8 o'clock is a good time to start calling expireds. And the key to it is not the initial call. The key to it is having a follow-up system, because you tend to get the yes, not on the first call, but on the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th call for follow-up. So you have to have a strong follow-up game, and we'll be talking about that moving forward in the future. How do you follow up systematically in a way that you actually get the opportunity? Let me see here. What do we have in here? Ashley, talk to us real quick about